History hides its greatest secrets in plain sight. Sometimes a forgotten truth is buried just beneath our feet. We walk over it for centuries. We ignore the whispers of a plant that once shaped civilizations. This plant was a source of strength. It was a pillar of health. It was a tool for survival. But over time, its story was erased, not by war or disaster, but by something far simpler: shame and misunderstanding. A cloud of fear gathered around it. Its power was dismissed as folklore. Its wisdom was traded for convenience. And so, a plant that nourished humanity for millennia vanished from our tables and our minds, waiting to be rediscovered. The plant I am talking about is the fava bean. Today we might see it as just another legume. It is often relegated to a small corner of the produce aisle. We may associate it with a complex recipe or an obscure dish, but this humble bean holds a secret power. For thousands of years, it was known as a food that could sharpen the mind and lift the spirit. It was a brain food, long before we had a name for such a thing. Ancient people knew this instinctively. They ate fava beans not just to fill their stomachs, but to clear their thoughts. They valued its ability to bring focus and balance. This was not magic. It was a deep, intuitive understanding of the connection between food and mind. Archaeologists have unearthed evidence of this ancient relationship. In the ancient hills of Galilee, they found fava beans stored in clay jars. These were not just any beans. They were carefully preserved, dating back over 10,000 years. This discovery tells us something important. Early farmers did not just eat fava beans, they prized them, they stored them for the lean months. They saved the best seeds for the next planting. This was a crop that was essential to their existence. It was a reliable source of protein in a world of uncertainty. It was a foundation upon which early agriculture was built, a partner in the great human experiment of settlement and civilization. These ancient farmers were not just cultivating a crop, they were cultivating a relationship with the land. They saw the fava bean as a gift. It provided sustenance for their families. It ensured the health of their soil. It demanded little but gave back so much. They passed this knowledge down through generations. The stories, the planting rituals, the harvesting techniques, all of it was part of a sacred trust. They knew that the fava bean was more than just food. It was a link to the earth itself. It was a symbol of resilience. It was a testament to the quiet, enduring wisdom found in the natural world, a wisdom we have almost completely forgotten. The ancient farmers who planted fava beans understood something profound. They knew this plant had a special relationship with the soil. They might not have known the scientific term for it, but they saw the results with their own eyes. Fields where fava beans grew were healthier. The crops that followed were stronger and more abundant. The earth seemed rejuvenated, more alive. This was not a coincidence. It was the work of a natural partnership between the plant and the microscopic life in the soil. The fava bean was not just taking from the earth, it was giving back in a powerful and essential way. This act of generosity is a core part of its secret. The science behind this ancient observation is called nitrogen fixation. Like all legumes, fava beans have a remarkable ability. They can pull nitrogen directly from the air. Nitrogen is an essential nutrient for all plant life, but most plants cannot access it from the atmosphere. Fava beans, however, form a partnership with tiny bacteria on their roots. These bacteria create small nodules. Inside these nodules, they convert atmospheric nitrogen into a form that the plant can use to grow. This process is a miracle of natural engineering. It allows the fava bean to create its own fertilizer, making it incredibly self-sufficient and resilient. This ability makes the fava bean a healer of the land. When the plant dies, the nitrogen it has collected is released back into the ground. This enriches the soil for whatever is planted next. Ancient agricultural systems like crop rotation were built around this principle. Farmers would plant fava beans to restore tired fields. They were essentially using the plant as a natural fertilizer. This sustainable practice allowed them to farm the same land for generations without depleting it. It was a perfect cycle of give and take. The bean nourished the people, and in turn it nourished the earth that sustained them all. In our modern world, we have replaced this elegant system with synthetic fertilizers. We pour massive amounts of industrially produced nitrogen onto our fields. This practice has enormous environmental costs. It pollutes our waterways and contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. We have forgotten the simple wisdom of the fava bean. We have traded a regenerative system for an extractive one. By looking back at how ancient cultures worked with this plant, we can see a different path forward. We can rediscover a way of farming that works with nature, not against it. The fava bean shows us that the health of our food is inseparable from the health of our soil. The fava bean's gifts extend beyond the soil. Its most remarkable secret lies within the bean itself. For centuries, healers and common folk alike recognized that eating fava beans had an effect on the mind. It was said to bring mental clarity. It could lift a heavy mood. It helped people feel more focused and emotionally stable. This was not just a placebo effect. It was the result of a powerful natural compound that the bean produces in significant amounts. This compound is a direct precursor to one of the most important neurotransmitters in our brain. The bean was quite literally feeding the mind and nurturing our inner world. This powerful compound is called L-DOPA. It is the direct building block for dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that plays a crucial role in our lives. It governs motivation, focus, pleasure, and emotional regulation. When our dopamine levels are balanced, we feel engaged, driven, and joyful. When they are low, we can struggle with depression, apathy, and brain fog. The fava bean is one of the richest natural sources of L-DOPA on the planet. By eating these beans, ancient people were giving their brains the raw materials needed to produce this essential chemical. They were supporting their mental well-being with every meal. This connection was not lost on ancient civilizations. The Romans associated the fava bean with their spring festival, Lemuria, a time for purifying the spirit. In Egypt, it was a staple food, believed to provide both physical and mental fortitude. These cultures did not have the language of neuroscience. They could not speak of dopamine pathways or synaptic transmission, but they understood the outcome. They saw that this food could alter one's state of mind for the better. This wisdom was embedded in their cultural practices and their diets. The fava bean was respected as a plant that could nourish the soul just as effectively as it nourished the body. Modern science has now confirmed what ancient healers knew all along. The discovery of L-DOPA in fava beans and its subsequent isolation led to one of the most significant medical breakthroughs of the 20th century. It became the primary treatment for Parkinson's disease, a condition caused by a loss of dopamine-producing cells. This rediscovery shines a light on the incredible potential hidden within our food. It reminds us that nature has already provided powerful tools for our health and well-being. We just need to remember where to look. The fava bean is a living pharmacy, a testament to the profound link between what we eat and how we feel. If the fava bean was so powerful, why did it fall from favor? How did a food once celebrated for its ability to heal the soil and focus the mind become so obscure? The answer is, well, complex. It involves the rise of processed foods, a shift in our agricultural priorities, and, honestly, a shadow of fear. As the industrial food system grew, we began to value convenience and shelf life above all else. Fresh fava beans require some preparation. They need to be shelled and, for some dishes, peeled. In a world of canned goods and frozen meals, this simple effort just seemed like too much work. The fava bean was left behind for foods that were faster and easier. At the same time, our relationship with food changed. We stopped seeing it as medicine. We began to think of nutrients as isolated components that could be put into a pill. Why eat a bean for L-DOPA when you could take a pharmaceutical version? This reductionist thinking divorced us from the wisdom of whole foods. The fava bean offers L-DOPA in a natural package, complete with fiber, protein, and other micronutrients that work together. Modern medicine often isolates one compound, ignoring the symphony of benefits that nature provides. This focus on single-molecule solutions made the humble fava bean seem obsolete, a relic of a pre-scientific age. The bean's reputation was also tarnished by a legitimate medical concern. A small percentage of the population, primarily of Mediterranean and African descent, has a genetic condition called G6PD deficiency. For these individuals, consuming fava beans can trigger a severe and dangerous reaction called favism. This condition causes the rapid destruction of red blood cells. While this risk is real for a specific group, fear and misinformation cause many others to avoid the bean unnecessarily. The warning became a blanket prohibition in many people's minds. The story of its danger overshadowed the much larger story of its benefits, and a powerful food was unfairly stigmatized. As the fava bean disappeared from our plates, we saw a corresponding rise in brain health issues. Rates of depression, anxiety, and attention disorders have climbed steadily. We have become a society struggling with a collective dopamine deficit. While many factors contribute to this trend, it is hard to ignore the dietary shift. We have replaced nutrient-dense, mind-supporting foods like the fava bean with processed items full of sugar and empty calories. We traded a food that builds mental resilience for foods that contribute to inflammation and imbalance. The decline of the fava bean is a symbol of a larger cultural forgetting, a loss of the knowledge that connects our food, our minds, and our well-being. The good news is that this lost knowledge is not gone forever. We can reclaim it. We can bring the fava bean back to our tables and our gardens. Growing this ancient plant is, honestly, surprisingly simple. It is a way to connect directly with the wisdom of our ancestors. Fava beans are a cool weather crop. They thrive in the gentle sun of spring and fall. Unlike many garden vegetables, they are not fussy. They prefer well-drained soil, but are adaptable. The first step is to plant the seeds in early spring, as soon as the ground can be worked. Plant them about 2 inches deep and 6 inches apart. You are not just planting a seed, you are planting a piece of history. The ancients did not use chemical fertilizers, and you do not need to either. Remember, the fava bean makes its own. As the plants grow, they will stand tall and strong, sometimes reaching 4 or 5 feet in height. They will produce beautiful, fragrant, black and white flowers. These flowers are a sign that the magic is happening. The plant is gathering nitrogen from the air. It is preparing to form the pods that will hold its precious beans. Your role as a gardener is simple. Provide water during dry spells and watch them grow. You are a steward of this ancient process, a participant in a cycle that has been repeating for thousands of years. Harvesting is a ritual in itself. The beans are ready when the pods are plump and green. They should feel full to the touch. The ancient method was to pick them by hand, one by one. This is a slow, mindful process. It connects you to the food you are about to eat. Snap the pods from the stalk and gather them in a basket. To get to the beans, you must first open the pod. Inside you will find several bright green beans nestled in a soft, white lining. For the tenderest beans, you can peel away the thin outer skin after a quick blanch in hot water. This reveals the vibrant, nutrient-rich bean within, ready to nourish your body and mind. When you grow fava beans, you are doing more than just cultivating a vegetable. You are taking part in a regenerative act. After the harvest, you can turn the plants back into the soil. As they decompose, they will release their stored nitrogen. This will enrich the earth, preparing it for your next crop. This is the ancient cycle of renewal. It is a way of gardening that gives back as much as it takes. By growing fava beans, you are not only rediscovering a powerful food, but you are also relearning a more harmonious way to interact with the land. You are cultivating wisdom. The story of the fava bean is a powerful reminder. It shows us how easily we can lose touch with ancient wisdom. In our rush for progress, we have often dismissed the knowledge of our ancestors as primitive. We have traded whole foods for processed products. We have swapped natural cycles for industrial efficiency. And, we are beginning to see the consequences. Our health is suffering. Our environment is under strain. The fava bean stands as a quiet witness to what we have forgotten. That food is medicine, that soil is life, and that nature provides elegant solutions to our most pressing problems. It is crucial that we heed the warnings associated with this plant. The risk for individuals with G6PD deficiency is serious. Knowledge must always be paired with responsibility. Sharing the story of the fava bean must include sharing the information about favism. This is not a reason to fear the plant, but a reason to respect it. It teaches us that food affects everyone differently. It encourages a personalized approach to nutrition, one that honors our unique genetic makeup. True wisdom is not about finding a single answer for everyone. It is about understanding the nuances and respecting the individual. The rediscovery of the fava bean's power is happening now. Scientists are studying its potential. Chefs are reintroducing it to their menus. Gardeners are planting it in their backyards. But this knowledge is still fragile. It exists on the margins. To ensure it is not lost again, we must actively participate in its revival. We must share the stories. We must save the seeds. We must teach our children how to grow it and how to cook it. We must bring it back to our tables and make it a part of our lives again. This is how we protect a legacy. This is more than just a story about a bean. It is a call to remember. It is an invitation to look at the world around us with new eyes. What other secrets are hidden in the plants we overlook? What other wisdom is buried in the practices of the past? The fava bean teaches us that the path forward sometimes requires looking back. It asks us to slow down, to reconnect with the earth, and to reclaim the knowledge that nourishes both body and soul. Let us not let this wisdom slip through our fingers again. Let us remember, protect, and share the secret power of the fava bean.